Dr. Sabrina, I am so excited to talk with you today about the secret to vision, growth, and A-player retention. Um, so many times, small business owners, they dread hiring team members because with their history, they're bringing in team members and they're not really set up for success. And this leads to about 75% of the time business owners being very disappointed in their team members' performance. But you've unlocked the secret to this, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm just going to begin there with the question. What do you think the secret is to employee retention?
So retaining A players is like key to business growth because we lose so much profitability when we have high turnover. And the worst is to lose one of your best employees. And it's a huge setback in time and efficiency in the business. And so the best thing that we can do as business owners is focus our efforts on retaining A players, even above and beyond hiring A players. And what I found works hands down for retaining A players, not for retaining all your employees, but retaining your A players, is having a clear vision. Because when we have a clear vision, there is something for those A players to buy into. And A players are motivated. They're intrinsically motivated, Melissa, by intrinsic means internal. And so there's no amount of compensation that we could put forward that would keep an A player on our team. They are motivated by learning and growth opportunities. Now, of course, they should be reasonably compensated for all that they are bringing to the team, because they really will bring you a huge return on investment. They're 900 to 1,200% more productive than your warm body team members. So having a clear, compelling, vivid vision that A players are excited to be a part of is the absolute key to retaining your A players.
Yeah, the vision is so important, and it's so often overlooked because business owners struggle to create a vision. What do you think that is?
I know for myself that I cannot do visioning work when I'm in the day-to-day of the business. Like, my brain just does not go there because we're being bombarded all the time with emails and Slack and, all these communication platforms, and we feel like we have to respond, and we're in that survival mode. And so what I found, the only way that I've been successful in visioning is doing it during quiet times of the year and fully unplugging from the business. And this is why I love our strategic planning series on the podcast, because we time it to happen at the end of the year when a lot of business owners take at least a few days off around Christmas and New Year's. We at Tap the Potential take 2 weeks off now and fully unplug. And that's a great time during that unplugged time to have some powerful questions in front of you that help you create a clear, compelling, vivid vision. And by the way, I want to give the link if you want our strategic planning guide, as well as our strategic planner for planning for the new year. Go to tapthepotential.com/plan. The powerful questions around visioning really help us dial in what it is we are trying to create. And so often we think too small, Melissa, when we're visioning. And if we have a small vision, we don't have to work very hard. It doesn't require a lot of focus and effort. It allows us to get distracted by bright, shiny objects and all the crises that come up every single day in a small business. In contrast, when we have a big, hairy, audacious vision that requires intense focus and really challenges us to stretch and grow, we cannot afford to be distracted by all the crises that come up day to day. And it forces us to pay attention to what are the highest value activities that will move us quickly in the direction of that vision. And one of the things that's so exciting for us on the Tap the Potential team is we're in the midst of creating a new vision for the next 3 years ahead. And our whole team has had input on this. And it's quite the vision. It's quite a stretch for all of us. And it's got us really dialed into what are we going to say no to in order to have the time and the focus to serve our ideal clients in the way that we have in mind to do this and to reach more business owners as we do this.
Yeah. So when you share during our quarterly meetings the vision, it excites me. It totally lights me up. It re-energizes me. So when a team member can listen to the business owner share the vision, I will say not just a team member, an A player team member, when they hear that vision, it's exciting. They understand what the company stands for. They understand where the company's going, and then they can see themselves in that. Mm-hmm. So Amy, our integrator on our team, is so amazing, and she challenged us to think bigger. And we are each writing impossible goals for ourselves, which I absolutely love. But the thing is, when you have that vision, it really allows your team members to see what you're doing and why. So it adds clarity to why each team member is there, and it allows for growth. So several years ago, before I was the lead strategist and I heard the vision, I said, oh, that's what I want to do. Yes. And I worked towards that. And Caitlin on our team, our How to Hire the Best Strategist, did the very same thing. And she actually created her own dream role. And it is amazing what just having the vision and sharing it with your team members will do for their morale. It'll get them excited and make them want to work towards meeting your goals, which in turns helps them to identify what they need to be doing to get to where they want to go.
That piece that you just hit on is so key, and it is the A player's ownership of getting the team to where the team is trying to go with the vision. And what I think is such an untapped opportunity in our small businesses when we have A players is when we inadvertently micromanage and we tell them, here's what I want you to do, without really looking at what ideas do they have about how to deliver the results within their role. And when they bring forth their ideas and take ownership of establishing the systems to achieve those results that you're asking for them in their role, they will be, every time an A player has a challenge in front of them, they rise to meet it, and they blow us away as leaders with respect to how quickly they will meet those challenges. We were just talking about this, Melissa, with our Ascension clients today, that because we business owners are looking at the whole business and we have our fingers in all different aspects of the business, we can feel like we're wading through molasses to make anything happen in the business, to make change happen. But when we engage our A players and we give them ownership over achieving results and putting the systems in place to achieve those results, they have one focus. They're not focused on all the things going on in the business. They're focused on their area. And so they can move things forward much faster than we business owners can. And sometimes that leaves us business owners unnerved and unsettled because we think, whoa, things are happening too fast now. I was used to everything taking forever, and now all of a sudden we're on, like speed it up here. But that's actually a good thing, because A players, that intrinsic motivation is growth and development. And if we do not keep a challenge and a growth opportunity in front of our A players, they're going to go elsewhere to find that challenge and that growth opportunity.
Exactly. I loved that conversation so much. And I loved what you shared. You said, just let them go.
Yeah, let them go.
As A players, we can see the gaps in the day-to-day activities that business owners may not be seeing. And we're showing up with the company's best interest in mind. And we want to deliver quality services to, first off, for our own role, we want to experience ease. And then as well as for our team members and our customers and clients. So you shared one trick when an A player comes to you and says, oh, I have this idea and I want to implement it. And it may be something that you may not want your team member to take action on right away.
Yes.
Share that one phrase that you shared with our group.
So the yes and. Mm-hmm. And so this is an improv technique. Those who have been at our retreats have experienced some of the improv team development that we've done. So when you do improv, everybody's playing off of each other. So somebody there's a storyline, like 2 or 3 sentences usually. One person acts it out, and then it goes to the next person, and the next person's mindset is yes and. So you don't reject what's been presented to you. You build on it, and you may take it in a different direction with the yes and. That's okay. It's the yes, and it's the yes mindset that when we're interacting with our A players, we want to hold that mindset. So if an A player comes to you with this amazing idea and you're just aware like, oh my gosh, they're overloaded and they're trying to do way too much, say yes and say, and when you have completed this other goal, let's put this in the parking lot and then bring it forward after that other goal is completed. So you're saying yes to the A player. You're not saying no. You're saying yes, and let's do this, in a couple months when you finish this goal. And here's the crazy thing. When an A player sees that they have 4 or 5 projects out and you make them focus on one, they will get it done really fast because they want to get to the next one because it's so exciting and so compelling. And so it actually, number one, they benefit from not having to switch goals all the time and switch focuses. That reduces the context switching, which whenever we context switch, we are really reducing our productivity. So it gets them hyper-focused on completing one thing. So focusing on one thing until successful and then going on to the next. Melissa, you started this conversation by asking me the secret to retaining A players. I know you have ideas too about what else goes into A player retention. What do you think is the next important ingredient?
Once you have the vision, there's 2 very important things, and that's fostering a coaching culture and then building trust through one-on-one meetings. Yes. So let's dig into just a short overview of what it's like to have a coaching culture, Dr. Sabrina. If you just want to summarize that, because I really want to get to the one-on-one meetings.
Yes. So the one-on-one, so you said building trust through one-on-one meetings. Trust is the foundation of a coaching culture. And when we feel safe and supported at work, that is when we will bring our best work forward, we'll be highly engaged, and we will do our best thinking. When we do not feel safe and supported, when we feel like ideas could be attacked or we personally could be attacked, if you've ever worked in a company where there's a lot of drama and politics and backstabbing going on, people are not doing their best work in that environment because you don't feel safe. You always have your guard up. And so the best thing that we can do as leaders in our businesses is create a safe, supported environment where people feel free to challenge one another in their thinking and to challenge ideas and to ask the powerful questions. So it's the powerful questions that really drive a coaching culture. And an example of this today in Ascension Group, one of our clients had been pushing forward an initiative in her business. And she said, I'm a rapid decision maker. And she was gung-ho to get this thing done before the end of the year. And then she came to one of our office hours and she said, I'm really questioning the ROI of this effort. Like, I'm going to put all this effort in, and then there's going to be all these expenses because I'm making this change. So I wonder, like, what's the real payoff? And it was just in that moment of stopping to ask that powerful question where she identified the opportunity to save herself and multiple team members lots of time and effort and money in the business. And so many times in our businesses, we are just go, 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 and we don't stop and ask these powerful questions. So when we create a coaching culture, we ourselves are paying attention to what are the powerful questions that I can be asking. We also encourage our team members to ask those powerful questions. And so that means those powerful questions get asked of us. So our vision at Tap the Potential for the next 3 years is as powerful as it is because Amy challenged our thinking. She gave us one tremendous powerful question followed by 3 or 4 also very powerful questions that supported it. And that really shifted the whole tone of where we took our annual planning for the year and for several years ahead. And so when we have A players on our team who feel safe and supported and who learn the skills to ask these powerful questions that open up possibilities versus yes, no questions that shut down our thinking and shut down possibilities, that's where we get these coaching cultures that A players want to be a part of.
I love this so much. And I want to, I don't want us to get off track here, but I do want to bring up something that came up in group today. And that was the business owner feeling very defeated because they have a new key lead team member who is taking on a brand new role. And it was somewhat established prior, but he's going in and saying, okay, I see these gaps and here's how I suggest we improve it. And the business owner is feeling extremely overwhelmed. And then it also feels defeating. It sounds like, oh, this team member is saying, well, I've just been messing things up. So, and that's a normal reaction, especially when we're already stressed out business owners. So say something to a business owner who's listening, who is has A players on their team, and maybe it's the first time they really have a great A player on their team, and this is a new territory for them. Say something to them about how they can open their mind to the possibilities that their A player is sharing.
Yeah. So that right there is the question, like, what's possible? What is possible? So the A player is seeing something that the business owner doesn't see or hasn't been able to see or hasn't been in the mindset to be able to see. And so when we're creating a coaching culture, we want to create a feeling of safety. So if we shut down that A player and say, yeah, that's a good idea, we're just not ready to do that yet. And that is a typical business owner response. I've said that many times. To the receiver of that feels very off-putting. It feels like you've just brought forward an idea. There's clear value in it. The business owner has acknowledged that. And you're being told, no, it's not going to happen. It's going to go like in this waiting thing that you may get to it or you may not. So when we start looking at what's possible, we will see new opportunities in front of us. It just having something that gets laid out in front of us as a possibility that we had not previously allowed ourselves to entertain allows us to see more and more opportunities to make that happen. And so in a coaching culture, you want to encourage those A players to bring forth those ideas and those opportunities. And you want them to challenge your thinking. And that is the heart of a coaching culture, is when A players on the team, business owner and team members, are challenging one another in their thinking and building on the yes, and yes, we can do this. And here's another opportunity that makes that even easier for us.
Mhm. It takes a lot of vulnerability for a team member to say, hey, I would love to discuss how this is working in the business, and I want to help improve it, and I have a solution. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to trust our A players to support us. And there are times where we have to, what we do is put it in the parking lot. So we'll have those yes and responses. Some things do need to go in the parking lot. Maybe it's because we're simply focusing on one thing at a time, but maybe you have a team member who, like myself, because you just described me to the T earlier, needs to just slow down.
Yeah.
But it's important so that that trust is not broken and that team member remains energized and excited about their role, to just hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And in some situations, do go ahead and give them that opportunity to shine and discover what's possible. So these are really important conversations to have.
Yes. The key to all of this is what we touched on earlier, and that's the second part, which is the one-to-one meetings where we're building trust. And so when we get very busy, it's tempting to say, well, I see my team members all the time. Why do I need to have one-to-one meetings with them? Well, the one-to-one meetings are where you're focusing on them and listening to them. Being fully emotionally present is the greatest gift we can give another human being. And when we stop, put our phone down, and make eye contact with our team member for 15 or 20 minutes and listen to them, we are showing them that we care and we are interested in them and we care about them as a human being. So the one-to-one meetings aren't just about how is your performance at work. It's just an opportunity to check in with your team member as a human being and hear what's on their mind and what's going on in their world. Now, that doesn't mean that should be the entire focus of the meeting. We've had clients Tap the Potential come back and say, I feel like I'm running a therapy session because all they do is talk about their personal stuff and we never get to work stuff. And that you need to rein that in for sure. You want to limit that and have a clear focus and a clear agenda for the meeting, which we teach you how to do that in our Better Business, Better Life program. But the one-to-one meeting, when you're doing it on a weekly basis or an every other week basis, it's like you're putting deposits in their emotional bank account. Every deposit goes towards building a foundation of trust. And so when you have to give any critical feedback, you have a solid foundation of trust. And then that critical feedback is delivered in a safe, supported environment from the perspective of, I'm invested in your growth, Melissa. I want you to be the best you can possibly be. And here's something I've observed where you may be undermining yourself without realizing it. And would you be open to that feedback? That is how that kind of critical feedback can get delivered in a one-to-one in a coaching culture. And it creates an opportunity for an A player to say, yes, I want to learn and grow. Thank you so much for telling me that or bringing that to my attention. And, I'm going to work on this going forward. The other piece about retaining A players and where the one-to-ones become so valuable is it's an opportunity to talk about that A player's development. So we want to be developing our A players all the time. And oftentimes we're focused on growing the business and we're not focused on growing our A players. Our number one reason we will lose A players on our team is they're going to go elsewhere for growth and development opportunities. So at Tap the Potential, we have created A player development plans. And the A player development plan is an opportunity. It's a structured opportunity for that business owner to have ongoing conversations with their team members around the team members' development and creating a quarterly plan, just like you plan, you have a vision and then you break it down to annual goals and quarterly goals. The individual team members get to share their personal visions and their career visions, and you can support them in A player development planning around quarter by quarter, moving towards the achievement of what matters most to those A players. So sometimes it's courses that further them in their development for your work. Other times it's something entirely personal to them in their personal lives, like maybe they want to buy a house. And so you're sharing with them, hey, there's some resources that I know about over here that could help you in figuring out how to come up with your down payment. And of course, obviously, you're not going to get into all their personal finances in the one-to-one. You're just saying, I acknowledge this is an important goal to you. I've read this book, or I've watched this video, or here's a podcast I heard that really helps around personal finance, and I want to share it with you. That says to your A player, they're investing. That business owner is investing in me. And so it's that mutual investment where the A player is investing in the vision of the business and the business owner, and the business owner in turn is investing in that A player's vision. So I want to give the link if anyone would like to download the A Player Development Plan. You can go to tapthepotential.com/A Player, and you will get the A Player Development Plan template along with the mini course that you can give to your A player to follow along. And there's also videos, short videos for you to watch as the business owner, and it can become something that you work on with your A player as you go into the new year ahead. And I mean, really, what a powerful statement to your A players. Like, let's do an A player development plan together. I'm investing in you. I care about you as a person. I want the best for you.
So powerful. So we're going to wrap up this episode, but I want to invite everyone to tune in to the next episode where we're going to talk about leading with love.
Yes.
And in that episode, I'm going to share my personal experience working with you, Dr. Sabrina, and how these one-on-one meetings have transformed my life. And you are a perfect example of leading with love. And it's really why I think we have the company and the culture that we do. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.